You're here because you want to get some great tips on how to create a St. Patrick's Day charcuterie board. So if you want to learn how to get this festive board going, then let's just jump right into this video. Hey, I'm Jordan and this is Amazing Grace Boards. And if you are here because you love to watch and learn and see how to create charcuterie boards for your friends and family, then you're in the right place. Please consider subscribing, and I'd love to chat with you in the comments. If you have any great ideas, I would love to recreate those. So please, in the comments, tell me what you'd like to see next. Okay, here we go. So I have my board and all my ingredients prepped already. And so what I'm doing here is getting my mineral food grade oil to rub on the board since it was pretty dry, which is very normal, especially since I use these boards pretty often. I know right now it looks a little bit greasy, but I'm putting like a dry towel on top of it just to soak up what I can, but it's just going to seep into this wood very quickly, so it will not look like this, plus it'll be hidden majority of the time too. So as you can see, I've got everything cut up, and as I place it, I'll tell you exactly how I'm cutting them or how I would recommend to do it with this board specifically. So those are two cheeses. The one to the top left is a Irish IPA Cheddar, and then the bottom right is a Mimolette, which is amazing. It's such a great cheese, as well as this IPA Cheddar. It has such a great tint of beer. It is so good. So I'm adding some of the vegetables that I have. So I've got carrots that I had the carrots in the raw, basically like not your baby carrots, which you can totally use, but I figured I'd like the green and the orange together, so I cut them lengthwise, and I did peel them as well. I had the grapes, of course, there. And then those cheeses are just like the Baby Bell cheeses that you find, but they are the Irish Kerrygold soft cheese. They were so good, and they were really good with the cucumber. I did eat them with the carrots. They were okay, which I think another option would be to add like a little side of ranch, which would be so good for both of those. But the cheddar, it was so soft, and it was just a really mild cheese to have on the board with a different texture than the others that I have. So I added the adorable sweet. So I found that cookie, the little Irishman cookie at I think it was TJ Maxx. So they always have super festive things. And then I had this little bucket from Halloween. Found some chocolate gold chocolate bars there, and then I have some of those crackers that I showed. They are, I think, a date flavor. They were really good. And then I've got my olives on the right hand side, some green olives there, and then that amazing that was a whiskey. I found a whiskey salami. It was so good, and the whiskey flavor was mild, but it was really tasty. The texture, there is a casing on there that I had to cut off, and that's totally fine. It was really good. So once I figured it out after I ate one piece, I started to take the whole casing off, which was very simple. And then I added the tangerines for color. I also cut one up just so you can kind of see a different texture along with the green leaves. So I'm starting to add some of the other crackers, which were just some basic rectangular a regular white cracker, which was great. So you can find any shape, size. I just know those are very mild when it comes to like more intense cheeses like a Mimolette or the IPA. And so here I am having a difficult time, you'll see for a little bit, that I am trying to figure out what to do with these adorable rainbow shaped sour candies, because I thought it was such a fun color and just kind of ties into the whole theme of what we've got going on for St. Patrick's Day. And the sugar is getting everywhere. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get a fun little shape, so I move on. So I have those green bean cracker, like dried green beans, chips, I guess they call them, and they were really good. So I assumed I was going to use that with the soft cheese, the Kerrygold soft cheese, which was great, but also they were really good with ranch, which I have homemade ranch on the side, which you can't see, which is why I would have loved to put that on this board. So take my tip. One thing I didn't do was add ranch. So here I come back, I thought about it. I think, okay, I need a different ramekin, so hopefully this will hold. I originally wanted to have it like a perfect straight line like this. That didn't work out. So they start to move everywhere. So I end up just, okay, let's figure out how to make it look cute, even though it's gonna be all over the place, which is fine. And so I end up just kind of making a little ribbon shape and squeezing it all together. And eventually it stopped curling back up and it worked out amazing. So that was what I wanted these on there just because of the color. Everything else is it's also very bright, the greens and the oranges, but this is fun because you've got the red and the yellow and the blue that pop out. So it was great to eat too. The kids were like loving this board. And I thought all the cheeses and the vegetables and everything just went really, really well, which sometimes, when you're testing out different cheeses, sometimes you realize, okay, I could have changed this or done something a little bit different, but this was just perfect. So of course I had to have dried apricot slabs. There's a very big difference between the dried apricots versus the slabs. In my opinion, I think these have a more natural taste. And they're not super rubbery. They almost have that like the good leather feel. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, I also had the dried orange slices I get from Trader Joe's. And then here it's a half of a green apple. I slice them lengthwise very thin because ideally I use this to shape out a heart. So as you can see, I'm like pressing together, but also pushing up and down some of the little slices, which will eventually push it into the shape of a heart. So I didn't cut all the way straight down. You need to do that for you to be able to move and maneuver the slices. So that worked out really well. It looked adorable. I just eventually had to figure out how I can display it so you can see it. And one of my pet peeves that I hold myself accountable to is like little holes and pockets. So you can see there's like a hole between the leprechaun and the heart, and I'm running out of ingredients that I actually had. So I had to figure out how can I push these crackers up, fill that hole between the Mimolette. I ended up switching the Mimolette and the green chips, if I didn't mention that when I saw it happen in real time, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe I have to use a ton of these apricot slabs to fill in, and I'll put them on this side and that side and all around, but it didn't look right. And that's not normally how I like to do. I don't like to spread them out. I like to keep every item in one place. And now that won't always be the case, but in this situation, I wasn't really loving it. So I had to add a few more cucumbers to fill in some of those pocket holes. I end up, saying never mind, just stick with moving some crackers around, fill in a little bit of the gaps, keep the apricot slabs on the left. And then I had to grab an impromptu ingredient, which were walnuts, just your basic raw walnuts, and then I had some kettle almonds. So that's what I used to fill in that space. Plus, if I didn't mention, I was noticing there was a lot of orange going on. So that is it. So I figured it out. I loved this board so much. I thank you for watching. If you stayed all the way through to listen to my method to this madness, it was great and super delicious. So if you love this, hit that like button and follow and subscribe for more videos to come. Have a great one.